olfactory is right here, okay? Olfactory. 2 is the optic nerve, and it will go to the optic chiasm and optic tract. Optic nerve, optic chiasm, and optic tract. Now 3 and 4 above the pons. Here is 3 medial, and here is 4, this wire, lateral. 5 is right here. It's the anterior lateral surface of the pons, which is a trigeminal nerve. And then you have 6, 7, 8. The anterior surface, the anterior inferior surface of the pons. 6, 7, and 8. And then you see this pink structure. Above is 12. Under is 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 1 and 2, olfactory and optic. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are related to the pons. Okay, 3 and 4 above the pons, medial and lateral. 3, 4, oculomotor and trochlear. Number 5, trigeminal, is the anterior lateral surface of the pons, right here. Trigeminal, the wide one, the big diameter. And then 6, 7, and 8, this is the anterior inferior surface of the pons. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. And then you have this again, and there are 4 nerves related to this pink structure. This one is 12, and then you have 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. 9 is glossopharyngeal, 10 is vagus, 11 is accessory. Okay, and this is 12, which is the hypoglossal. So around the pink, 1 is above, hypoglossal or 12, 9, 10, 11, glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory.
Okay.
That's it for the cranial nerves.
No, can you point at the structures?
Seriously? If I saw this on the YouTube, it would be in trouble.
No, I'm not. No.
Okay, let's do this seahorse. The eye of the seahorse is the thalamus. The eye pupil, the brown structure in the middle, this is the interthalamic adhesion or the intermediate mass. The pink structure, which is like the eye shadow above the eye, is the pineal gland that secretes melatonin. Okay, so here's the thalamus, the eye. Under the thalamus is hypothalamus. Above the thalamus is epithalamus. Thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus. Under the thalamus we have the hypothalamus right here, and there's another part that's under the thalamus as well, but it's continuous with the fourth ventricle. This is the third ventricle. So if you're looking at the eye, which is the thalamus, under the thalamus you have, here's the hypothalamus, and here is third ventricle. The hypothalamus will go to the mouth, which is the optic chiasm, infundibulum, which is connecting the mouth, which is optic chiasm, to the pituitary gland. Here is the pituitary gland or the hypophysis. Okay, let's go back here. This is the eye, which is the thalamus, and this is the eyebrow, which is the fornix. Here is the forehead, which is the septum pellucidum, and the hair right here, the big part, this is corpus callosum. Corpus callosum. So we see the eye pupil, thalamus, intermediate mass, hypothalamus, third ventricle, fornix, septum pellucidum, corpus callosum. And if you follow the third ventricle, this is the aqueduct of the midbrain, because this is a midbrain. So this is the aqueduct of the midbrain, or the aqueduct of the mesencephalon. This part right here, at the fourth ventricle, so third, fourth, and in between aqueduct of the midbrain. And if you look at the chest, abdomen, and tail of the seahorse, the chest right here, this the whole part, the big part right here. This is the midbrain or the mesencephalon. The abdomen of the stomach right here. This is the pons, yes, and the rest is the medulla, right here. Okay, we have this point right here, and another one here. This is the anterior commissure at the intersection or the crossing of the fornix, which is the eyebrow, and the end of the corpus callosum. You see a structure here. This is anterior commissure. In the back here, this is a posterior commissure. It's not the whole structure, just this little point right here. This structure right here is called corpora quadrigemina, the big part. They are continuous, but if you see here, here is 1, 2, and another 2 on the other side. altogether are corpora quadrigemina, the four bodies. One, two. What you see here is just a section of the corpora quadrigemina. Okay? This is the amygdala or mammillary body. This is the mammillary body right here, and this is the olfactory nerve that we mentioned here above, medial. Right? This is the cerebellum. This is the tree of life, which is the arbor vitae, the white structures. Inside this white structure are the nuclei. Okay, the nuclei of the cerebellum. Right? And here is left cerebellar hemisphere. This is the vermis, number 8, vermis, which is connecting the two hemispheres together. These elevations here are called the folia, like the gyri or the gyri and the cortex. The cortex of the cerebellum. These elevations are called folia. Okay, here, let's do this last thing here. If you start from here, this is a lateral sulcus, and if you follow the lateral sulcus, you will go all the way up to here. So follow. If you go like this, and you see this is continuous all the way until it goes to the top. This is the central sulcus. Okay, central sulcus. This is separating the frontal from the parietal. Frontal, parietal lobes. So we have the frontal lobe, parietal lobe with the central sulcus in between. And then you have here, this is the parieto-occipital sulcus, between the parietal lobe and the occipital lobe. Frontal, parietal, occipital. And this right here, temporal lobe. Lateral sulcus is separating the temporal lobe from the frontal lobe. Central sulcus is separating the frontal from the parietal. Parieto-occipital sulcus is separating the parietal from the occipital sulcus. Okay, if we go back to the central sulcus, this elevation here in front, this is anterior and this is posterior. This is the cerebellum right here, so this is posterior. In front, this is the precentral gyrus, and this is the postcentral gyrus. Precentral gyrus is the primary motor area, and the postcentral is primary sensory right here. So these are the two areas that we need to know: central and post-central, primary motor and primary sensory. Okay, this fissure right here that's separating the two hemispheres, this one right here is the longitudinal fissure, and this one right here that's separating the cerebrum from the cerebellum, right? This transverse fissure right here.
What's the red line over the eye?
This, we said that above the eye, which is the epithalamus, it should contain two colors. This is one of them, the pink structure. This is the pineal gland secreting melatonin. And this should be another one, probably in another model, that's blue. It should be here. It's blue, and this is the choroid plexus. So the eye shadow above the eye, the epithalamus, pink and blue. The pink is pineal gland, this one right here, and the other one probably in another model should be like blue above here. So the epithalamus will contain the pineal gland, and the choroid plexus should be here.